The notion that Netflix, previously regarded as the innovator and leader in the streaming business, may face bankruptcy is a bold and troubling comment. It's difficult to forget 2014, when Netflix appeared to be on top of the world, releasing success after hit, including the popular drama, Orange is the New Black. They were the definition of cool and cutting edge back then, the ones to look up to in any sector. Nevertheless, after a few years, it appears that things have taken a severe turn. Netflix is attempting to stay competitive and relevant, causing them to resort to desperate methods in order to become profitable. Since its beginning in 1997, the company's growth has been nothing short of spectacular. It all started when one of the company's co-founders, Reed Hastings, was upset by a $40 late penalty from Blockbuster for returning a DVD late. Yet, Blockbuster's business model was centered on charging difficult customers high fees for returning films, even if they were a week late. Hastings recognized that the film rental industry was in turmoil and that there had to be a better way. He co-founded Netflix with Mark Randolph in order to provide customers with DVDs delivered directly to their homes. Their concept was inspired by Amazon, which had previously demonstrated the viability of this approach with book delivery. The Netflix approach was straightforward but effective. Explore their large collection of over 70,000 titles, create a list of the movies you desire, and the first discs will appear in your mailbox within a business day. Consumers no longer had to cope with the inconvenience of visiting a real store or the annoyance of late fines. It was a game changer for them to just pay $19 per month for unlimited rentals with no late fees. Netflix's breakthrough was nearly instant, and they immediately expanded their workforce and built a library of thousands of movies to pick from. Despite their early success, the bigger industry did not view them as a substantial threat at first. They were, however, mistaken. Netflix was transforming the business, and they were well aware of it. Soon after, they began producing their own material, including the hit program Orange is the New Black, which swiftly rose to prominence in the streaming business. Netflix's rise up the ranks has been nothing short of spectacular. Despite only being in the game for a few years, the firm made enormous achievements and was able to provide services to consumers in an altogether new way. They tried to sell their firm to Blockbuster for $50 million in the early 2000s, but Blockbuster rejected the offer because it was too low. They had no idea that this decision would cost them dearly in the long term. Netflix immediately became a household name, with quarterly revenues of $21 million, and both Blockbuster and Walmart recognized they had grossly overestimated the company's potential. It was evident that Netflix was what people want, and the two businesses quickly attempted to establish competing services, but both eventually failed as Netflix rose to prominence. Netflix, on the other hand, did not rest on its laurels. They came up with a fresh notion in 2007 that would permanently revolutionize the game. The corporation discovered that it could use the high-speed internet to provide even more titles to its clients than it previously did. With that conclusion came the birth of Netflix 2.0. Users could select from thousands of movies and TV programs and promptly stream them to their televisions, with no restrictions on how many or when they could view them. It was an instant success, and the Netflix model once again changed the industry, establishing its position as the entertainment industry's future. Netflix's decision demonstrated that the corporation was always thinking ahead, seeking ways to enhance and innovate. Netflix started its Watch Now service in 2007, allowing consumers to stream up to 5,000 titles directly to their computer or home devices. Originally intended as a nice little bonus for Netflix DVD members, the corporation never anticipated it would outsell its disc business. History, on the other hand, had different ideas. As technology advanced, more and more homes began to purchase internet-enabled televisions, making it easier than ever to access web information directly from their television displays. Netflix was able to provide its Watch Now service as an inherent function on smart televisions, accessible directly from your remote control. The ability to view a movie or TV show without ever touching your computer was revolutionary for many users, and Netflix's popularity exploded as a consequence. The corporation had once again changed the entertainment sector and established itself as a market leader. By 2010, Netflix had made tremendous progress in the streaming industry, creating agreements to make its services available on major gaming consoles such as Xbox and PlayStation, as well as TiVos, Rokus, Apple smartphones, and other devices. This was when many people first heard of the streaming titan, and the business began to boom. By the 2010s, streaming accounted for the majority of Netflix's income and activity, and the firm altered its focus to become a streaming platform first and a DVD rental service second. Of course, this meant that pricing had to change. Netflix charged $10 per month for full streaming capabilities plus one DVD rental in 2010, and by 2011, their pricing approach had altered to $8 per month for DVD rentals and $8 per month for streaming. Streaming had evolved into its own distinct service, and that was how most people perceived Netflix. Despite the price increase, customers were more than ready to pay for the service because the product was still excellent for the price. Netflix had 9 million members in 2008, but by 2010, they had grown to an amazing 20 million, indicating that they were all the customers desired and more. Blockbuster was on its deathbed by the early 2010s, and Netflix had crushed all competitors and all but dominated the business. Netflix has certainly altered the way people watch media with its user-friendly interface and astounding range of movies and TV series. Online media watching became a prominent role in the entertainment sector in the early 2010s, and one of its largest victims was Blockbuster, which was forced into bankruptcy. Netflix pushed things to the next level in 2013 and 2014 by creating original programs such as House of Cards and Orange is the New Black. These shows immediately became some of the most highly acclaimed and beloved in media, which was unprecedented for a streaming service. Netflix's success seemed unfathomable, since it was regarded as the trendiest, most inventive brand that had destroyed both movie rentals and cable television. Their demise, though, was just around the corner. When competition from Disney, Paramount, Discovery, HBO, and other major digital companies entered the fray, Netflix's stronghold on the market began to wane. The media titans were not going to sit back and let Netflix steamroll them, so they attempted to replicate Netflix's disruptive approach. It was successful. The Mandalorian was available on Disney+, The Undoing was available on HBO Max, and high-quality entertainment was widely available and reasonably priced. Meanwhile, Netflix began to lose its talent for spectacular execution. They adopted a practice of green-lighting as many series and films as possible, regardless of quality. It appeared like the entire firm was operated by individuals without brains. It was basically a faulty algorithm that was taking random qualities and modifying them into awful presentations. This was a horrible plan. Netflix became the trendiest brand in the world because of its original programs. A Netflix original indicated high-quality programming. Yet, after allowing so many bad shows onto the network, a Netflix original became meaningless. Worse, their mishandling resulted in the early cancellation of a number of series with cult followings, which alienated customers who formerly adored the firm. This should have served as a wake-up call to Netflix, but it did not. World events that forced everyone to stay inside resulted in more people than ever before wanting entertainment. Netflix continued to perform admirably on the surface, but guess what else began to happen? Customers began experimenting with new streaming services, rapidly realizing that there was superior material available at lower pricing. Netflix made the unexpected statement in April 2022 that they had not only not acquired new members, but had actually lost 200,000. As a result, its stock dropped by more than 70% from its high. Following a decade of unprecedented success, Netflix's fortunes faced a severe dip in April 2022 when they lost over 200,000 customers, the first time they had seen such a drop. Netflix sought to justify its losses by blaming a variety of circumstances such as password sharing, withdrawal from the Russian market, and people returning to work, but its competitors were able to overcome comparable worldwide disputes with far fewer problems. Netflix proceeded to boost its pricing to roughly $16 per month in an attempt to preserve its supremacy, making them the most expensive streaming service on the market. This technique backfired miserably, as they greenlit several series and films that failed to live up to the anticipation, resulting in considerable unhappiness and disappointment among their customers. HBO Max has now taken up the title of cool streaming disruptor that Netflix had in 2014, highlighting their fall from grace. Netflix, desperate to reclaim its former glory and stop its losses, declared that they are tightening down on password sharing, a behavior that it previously tolerated. But over 100 million homes share passwords, and this choice contradicts Netflix's long-cultivated consumer-friendly reputation. In another step that has alarmed consumers, Netflix is considering introducing a cheaper version of their service sponsored by advertisements, a strategy that contradicts the company's core beliefs and the principles they battled against when they initially destroyed the cable sector. It's tough to connect Netflix's current situation with the firm that revolutionized two distinct sectors, movie rentals and cable television. The company's original value proposition of providing high-quality content at a low cost drove them to the top of the trendiest brands in the world. Unfortunately, mismanagement of the company's resources and abandonment of its fundamental values have resulted in capital hemorrhage and a dire need for funds to stay afloat. Netflix's demise is a cautionary story of how a firm may lose its way and go from being an industry disruptor to fighting to keep its head above water. It's worth mentioning that Netflix's success story all started with a simple late fee, an angry customer, and a desire to create a better movie rental experience for everyone. Their innovative business model disrupted the movie rental industry. But again, glory doesn't last forever, and now, Netflix's glory is the one in question. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you're interested in seeing more of such videos, hit the subscribe button. See you next time.